Greetings, YouTube. I appreciate House M reaching out to me to discuss this forum post because I'm somebody that doesn't spend money on early access bundles, that attempts $100 worth of units every 2 weeks to open the featured champion. And in multiple years of doing this, I've only opened the 6-star featured once and the 6-star sub featured, I believe, twice. And so I don't know if a champion is good or not, quite frankly, until I hear from people. So when we talk about Quicksilver, and yes, the prestige alone is very attractive to summoners, but for utility, for damage, for usability, I think quite a few people in the contest were expecting a different design than what we got. That's not to say what we got is a bad design. I don't want this to be some overly critical video that doesn't give credit where credit's due, but this forum post outlines some ideas to actually make Quicksilver. I've got Hercules in my brain because I just used him in a bunch of different Cavalier content to get Cavalier Event Quest points. But Quicksilver can be even better. So Quicksilver Rebalance is the title of the post from October 8th on Saturday from Capricious. I think I'm saying that right. Sorry if I'm not. I think Quicksilver is a strong and pretty well-balanced champ that takes a lot of skill to use. Quicksilver is probably one of the most stressful champs to use in the game right now if you want to do more than just placing a slow and dealing damage. I think there's a few tweaks that could make him more enjoyable for players. Tweak tip number 1. When dexing and evading an attack, Quicksilver can reset up to a max of 3 wither debuffs. Notice how I didn't say in terminal velocity. So much of his utility requires high momentum, so this could be something more immediate and not even all that great for unawakened Quicksilver. If Quicksilver evades out of a stun or a forward dash, let him phase or go invisible for a few seconds. Again, nothing game breaking, just makes it easier for the user to properly follow up on an evade, and if it gives the AI a little more firepower, this would also provide a slight reprieve from debuffs. Since damage shrug off was an expectation for Quicksilver, I think it's reasonable to give us a situational boost. Speaking of which, replace the benefit from the Wiccan synergies, Degeneration, with the ability to retain 200 to 300 momentum after losing terminal velocity. Quicksilver almost never faces degen from the Mystic class, and the synergy doesn't work for direct damage. An alternative answer would be to allow it to work on direct damage. After all, you have to build up momentum to use it, meaning that it's not a consistently viable counter. We would still be getting roasted by most nodes in the game. Quicksilver could theoretically outrun the nodes a little longer than everyone else if you made that change. So, I'm going to be the first to say I feel like what I just read was a foreign language to me, and I've of course been playing this game for now over 7 years. But at the same time, I believe that this person has used Quicksilver enough to speak credibly on the champion. Capricious added, none of this would make Quicksilver Hercules or Shadowcat, although I understand if the degen node sounds jarring, but it really wouldn't be for stuff like Brute Force or Incursion's Link nodes. All of these changes would make Quicksilver more fun, a better champion, more desirable, and none of these changes would make him broken, not even all of them together, and again, he would still require a lot more skill to use than most god tier champs in the game. Thank you. And then another follow-up. Forgive me for the raw sentences. It's almost 5 in the morning, and I've had a long day. Wait. So, you've had a long day. You get home. It's 5 in the morning, and you're thinking after your long day, I gotta go to the forums, and before I go to bed, I gotta rant about Quicksilver. That's some dedication. I'm impressed. Shadow Strike, my man, Brian Shadow Strike, said the Rebalance team won't make the official announcement of what's going on to have Quicksilver until December, and if they do make any changes, it'll be exclusively off of his performance through their analytics, so they're not going to fix him because you think he could be better on damage output if it risks making him broken. But you know, feedback is feedback, right? None of these changes are going to affect his damage output. They are only meant to increase the length of his techniques and add a slight amount of protection in situations where he can get clipped and fall off. Think of it like an Odin situation, which is ironic because when I think of Odin situations, I think of purchasing Odins more than using the champion, even though I know a lot of people love him. The bottom line is this. Quicksilver isn't Sentry, Because when Century first came out, we thought it was going to be Hyperion 2.0. There was literally a century and a half of disappointment. But Quicksilver is a, shall we say, challenging champion to learn. Capricious says it takes a lot of skill to use, so that's probably a better quote. All I know is I would love to hear from people who use Quicksilver daily and think he should be buffed, or maybe you don't. Maybe you found a different rotation or a different way to get damage than this summoner, and you have a counter. Either way, I appreciate this video going out there in House M. Thanks for the heads up on the forum post, and Capricious, thank you for writing it.